we discussed some other topics. So how many of you were there last time? क्या डिस्कस हुआ था?
About difference in consciousness between human being and animal.
Okay.
One of the topics.
One of the topics. Anybody else remembers? Good. Sure. We'll start with some prayers and then we start our lecture. ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुषा मिलितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपदाय केशवस्ताय भूतले श्रीमद्भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामी इति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पास्ते सतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे. So we are discussing from the 4th chapter. I'll ask again, what's the chapter's name? Transcendental knowledge. So that's the chapter name. So we are talking about our discussions around transcendental knowledge. And the part we are discussing from Shloka 25th to 33rd verse, it's about sacrifices. कि why you have to do sacrifice. And उसमें we are come now कि results of the sacrifice क्या होता है. Okay. Now a question to everybody. So this is going to be not being a monologue, it's going to be interactive session. So does everybody has to do sacrifice?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. कैसे?
Endeavor. By some endeavor.
You have to
We
do.
have 4 principles like Bhakti Vedanta or like Bhagavad Gita. So those principles you are following. So that is kind of efficient.
Right. So sacrifice means in the daily life also, if you see, if you are a student, you have to get up, study in the morning or in the night or whatever you do, but you have to follow some schedule. You can't live like animals ki है ना, खाया and उसके बाद you are done and then you do search for your next hunt. That is not what we do. We have to live a life, that's why. And only humans can do this. In my last class also I was mentioning कि human has the only choice vis-a-vis animals. Animals don't have choice. They only have, we have the biggest choice in that sense, ki whether you want to be vegetarian, non-vegetarian, study class or do anything else. So that is the ability ki you can go back home, back to Godhead. And what is this place called where we are staying? Dukhalaya Ashashvatam. In a place of misery and impermanence in that sense, ki temporary hai. Can you have anything permanent here?
No.
Pakka? No, you have been scientist experimenting, you can become younger. There was a CEO. I don't know, देखा था उसका interview आया था, podcast था. So he was younger, he wanted to look, and he was in Delhi giving an interview to some famous podcast guy. और बोलता है कि pollution बढ़ गया था, he just left Delhi. So he is searching for that permanence. But can we get anything permanent? Is your body permanent? Anything related to that? Nothing is permanent. So that's why everybody has to do sacrifice. Some do it voluntarily, some complainingly. So that's what is the whole purpose. So we just discussed today कि result क्या मिलेगा sacrifice करने का. Sure. So this is from the 4th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, 30th verse. Sarva ape iti yagna vido yagna kapita kalam saha yagna shishta amrita bhujo yantri bhamna sanatanam. Sarve, all. Api, although apparently different, iti, these, yagna vidha, conversant with the purpose of performing sacrifice, yagna shapita, being cleansed as a result of such performance, kalmasaha, of sinful reactions, yagna shishta, of the result of such performance of yagya, amrita bhujha, those who have tasted such nectar, yanti, do approach, Brahma, the supreme, Sanatana, eternal atmosphere. Translation by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. All these performers who know the meaning of sacrifice become cleansed of sinful reactions, and having tasted the nectar of the results of sacrifice, they advance towards the supreme eternal atmosphere. Now a question to you is, why sacrifice is so necessary? Why we have to do? Why this spiritual life is so important?
Or to overcome temporary material problems.
Okay.
Go to Vaikuntha.
Okay. Ladies, why spiritual life is so important? So Jivare Swarup hoy. So we are looking for permanent happiness. Are we looking for temporary happiness? You are looking, but it's not, its nature is temporary. That's why we are stuck in the material. But what is the main aim is to get that permanent happiness. और permanent happiness मिलेगा कैसे? When you nourish your soul. और soul का nourishment क्या है? To be in eternal connection with Krishna. So if you look at four, things to that, dharma, artha, kama, moksha. So moksha is the main thing that has to be done because all three are in the sense impermanent, temporary. कि धर्म करोगे, you open a big anna kshetra or some vidya kshetra. What will happen? You'll get a higher birth. But then what? You go to the heavenly planets. फिर क्या होगा? You have to again come back to the material world, right? Because you another get up. So devtas, are they permanent? Indra is a post. So so that's a post. So they are always in anxiety because demons होते हैं. But if you go to the Vaikuntha or the Krishna Leela में, are the Brijvasis in anxiety? They experience anxiety, but they know very well that Krishna will protect you. And that's from the life of Srila Prabhupada also we see. When he went to New York, was he in anxiety? कि पैसा कहाँ से आएगा? How would I get? How will somebody take care of me? He has suffered 3 heart attacks while traveling. And you can imagine cargo ship में कितना medical treatment मिला होगा at that point of time. But still he went because he had faith in Krishna. And did Krishna protect him?
Yes.
Now, humanly, without communication, इतना कुछ create करना, it was not possible. But that's how Krishna saved. And he used to also say, this is by my Guru Maharaj is sending so many disciples. And that's how what we have today. And it's growing because of this reason only. Krishna delivered, protected it. So that's why. So we are looking for permanent happiness. But then what we get attached to temporary happiness. And that's why we have to, keep reading scriptures and, attending programs because you get your right, right mindset. Easy? Understanding?
Right.
Yes. So, and sacrifice में everybody if you see from if is a office goer is a student सबको sacrifice करना पड़ता है. But how can we make a sacrifice spiritual? That is our subject study. We don't have to change our lives. Arjuna को change करना था, but did he change his life? No. Didn't Krishna never allowed him? He said you have to fight the war. He wanted to become a sannyasi that's why the Bhagavad Gita we're discussing this. So similarly, sacrifice you have to do, but we have to do for Krishna. That's the only thing. Nothing changes. You have to just put Krishna in the center, and that's how you live your life. That's the only difference that is there. So I'll just read the purport. From the foregoing explanation of different types of sacrifice, namely sacrifice of one's possessions, study of the Vedas of philosophical doctrines, and performance of the yoga system, it is found that the common aim of all is to control the senses. Okay, so last class, why control of the senses is so important?
Because that deviates from our goal, spiritual goal.
Yeah. I'm looking for one point is not wrong, but एक और deeper meaning इसमें. One more level.
Material entertainment.
Right. और उससे पहले माता जी it puts you in the bodily platform. और एक बार तुम bodily platform you start living, what will happen? You are in the body. You are not this body. You are a spirit soul. Second chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. The first instruction that Krishna gives to Arjuna is, you are not the body. You are a spirit soul. So what happens when you become, for sense enjoyment में क्या करते हो? Senses को enjoy कर रहे हो, तो then what will happen is you crave for all this. I want this short term fun, ये. And because of that you come to the bodily platform. You try to satisfy your senses. Are your senses ever satisfied? उसका डेमो ले लो. If you eat even 10 gulab jamuns, are your senses satisfied?
At that time it is satisfying.
Yeah. But your stomach, what does it say? हाँ? शुगर ज़्यादा लेते हो तो then you feel drowsy, right? तो yeah. मतलब for that minimum say what you say. And for how many seconds you enjoy the gulab jamun? 30 seconds.
Not more than
Right, 30 seconds. But that's why, so when you come to that bodily platform now, then you look out for short-term happiness. And this way now the problem is now with the shorts, Instagram shorts or yes, YouTube shorts, I think so, Instagram reels. What they are doing? How many people see reels? How many? Give an honest answer. That's better. Or how much time you spend seeing that reels? You can be honest,
20 minutes.
a day.
Morning.
Yeah. Anybody else? He's being honest, huh?
6.
6
Yeah.
minutes. Okay. So that reel is basically aapko, it's a very, so the creators of this are very smart. They now got it so you can't show a 1 hour lecture so people will not see. That's why they make reels. And advertisers also so now reels are very common way of marketing your product. Right? So people are very smart, all these people who create this, कि कैसे push करना है. And that's why it's difficult for us. Chanting में ध्यान रखता है. When you chant the holy names, how much is your focus time?
Not 100%.
Yeah. Yeah, the mind keeps on fluctuating because it's a very short-term thing. So that's why control of the senses is very important, that you have control over your senses. In the sense, you don't waste your time in these activities. And that's why you see, people, they come to the temple and chant, or they go to spiritual places. That's why it's recommended in Nectar of Devotion also to go to a holy place at least once a year, so that you can get your focus back. Well, otherwise, the instruments are increasing more and more for sense gratification. And it's just psychological problems over here. So that's where the way it's very important. So I'll just read ahead. Sense gratification is the root cause of material existence. So if you try to satisfy your senses, the material existence you are going to be there. And what is our objective is to go back home, back to Godhead, to Krishna, because that's where the real permanent happiness is. Because we are a spirit soul, and what is our objective? To satisfy the soul. This body is a temporary covering. It's going to end, the day you are born, you know you are going to die at some point of time. But do you know when you are going to die?
No.
Nobody has a clue. So that's why control of the senses is very, very important. And uske liye kya bola hai? Sacrifice karna. So what is the sacrifice that is recommended for this age? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So you are connected to your natural state. You are connected to Krishna. Clear? So therefore, unless and until one is situated on a platform apart from sense gratification, there is no chance of being elevated to the eternal form of full knowledge, full bliss and full life. So this is a very important point. Unless and until one is situated on the platform of apart from sense gratification, there is no chance of being elevated to the eternal platform of full knowledge, full bliss and full life. Now, this is a very important concept. So I need your attention. We are same in quality but different in quantity from the God or Krishna. We also have part knowledge, we also have part bliss, and we also have life. But is our quantity, how much quantity we have? How much knowledge that we have? A question to everybody, how much knowledge that we have? Minute, Prabhuji is saying. Anybody else? How much knowledge? Small part. Bliss also, we experience bliss, but it's not always. And life, ours is very, we also eternally existing, Krishna is eternally existing. But we are Nitya Baddha Jeev. That means we have to be, suffer the result of a karma. That Krishna has to suffer, but he still does penances, just to show example, or just for Leela. So, we are same in quality with the God, but we are not same in quantity. We can also lift a small stone, But can we lift Govardhan hill?
No.
We can't lift. Krishna, for how many days Krishna lift the Govardhan hill? कितना?
7 days.
और कौन से हाथ में? And little finger. And what were Brijvasis doing there? They were putting sticks. They are trying to help Krishna. So that's how Krishna takes service from the devotees. मतलब he could have said ना कि नहीं करना है, but then he takes service from the devotees. That's why I don't think that any service that you do is not being accepted by Krishna. We don't have the understanding, but he does reciprocate. होता है कभी spiritual life में it's easy to practice when you start practicing. मंदिर आना easy हो जाता है. You get the right cab to come on time मिल जाता है. हुआ है कभी ऐसा? Anybody can share example? Anybody? हुआ है?
Yes, there were many occasions when I had someone to meet me,
हाँ.
and I felt that I will not able to visit temple. But
Right.
suddenly the person himself has told that we will meet at Juhu, and then we came to temple. It has happened
Okay.
4 5 times.
Okay, that's something. Anybody else would like to share? Yeah, please bro.
So I started coming from last 2 Sundays.
हाँ.
So initially I thought that I'll be coming only on Sundays.
Okay.
And now I'm feeling like I can come on Saturday as well.
That's
So
it.
today I like planned many things, but finally I came to for the lecture.
Okay, then Jai. Mataji's, anybody? Would like to share? Yeah, yes.
बहुत ऐसा टाइम ऐसा हो गया कि कोई प्लान्स पहले से रहते बट इफ यू डिजायर टू कम टू टेंपल तो
Right.
अपने आप वो कैंसिल हो जाते हैं.
Right. Yes. So this is the story. I will just say why this happens. You take one step towards Krishna, Krishna takes 1,000 steps towards you. And this is a story from Gajendra Moksha जो भागवतम में आता है कि गजेंद्र वॉज अ एलिफेंट एंड दे वर प्लेइंग आई डोंट रिमेंबर वो हिल का मतलब माउंटेन में जहाँ पे है तो देयर वाज अ लेक एंड द लेक में दे प्लेइंग इन द गार्डन एंड दे वेंट टू द लेक इट्स अ एलिफेंट सो ही वॉज अ किंग ऑफ एलिफेंट्स एंड क्रोकोडाइल कैचेस हिज लेग सो ही डज अपने फ्रेंड्स को बुलाता है कि दैट्स हाउ वी डिपेंड ना इन द मटेरियल वर्ल्ड कि फ्रेंड्स हेल्प करेंगे मेरे को समहाउ दे विल डू इट दे ट्राइड इट नथिंग वर्कड and then he was in pain and this went on for a long period of time. Then Gajendra lifted a lotus flower and offered to Narayan. So it's given the description ki Narayan was coming running from Vaikuntha towards him because he offered a service to Krishna or Vishnu Narayan. So he was coming running. So Vishnu was coming that fast because the jewelry jo the wo gir rahe and all that. That's a description there in the Bhagavatam 7th canto if I'm not wrong. So that is there. That's why this happens. When you try to practice spiritual life, you get inspiration, and that inspiration is divine in that sense. So that's why even in Draupadi's case, she looked at for her, husbands were there who were so strong, but they couldn't do anything in this. Dushasan was pulling the sari, but then she offered to Krishna. Then Krishna came and helped. So that's why. What does we learn from this? Any problem you have to look out for. Or at least share with the Lord. So I don't know, in South there is a practice where people who do business na morning and evening they go to the temple and they give a balance sheet क्या दिन भर में हमने क्या किया, and that culture is there. So there is another temple also where they share 10% of the profits in Rajasthan. Savaria Seth temple is there. So they make him Krishna as the business partner, and 10% of the profits is shared. So that's how how Krishna reciprocates. So that's very important. That reciprocation of the Lord should be there with with devotee. That's how you will grow your bhakti, and that's why you get all these help is because obviously by mercy of the Lord. Agree? Disagree?
Agree.
And everybody is here on a Saturday. It's because you're getting some taste. मिल रहा है कोई taste in coming to the lectures? So that's why the spiritual nourishment is very important for the body. Any questions here? Any questions? Yeah. I'll just read it. This platform is an eternal atmosphere of Brahman atmosphere. All the above mentioned sacrifices help one to become cleansed of the sinful reactions of material existence. Now a very important concept here है कि Brahman realization क्या होता है, परमात्मा क्या होता है और भगवान क्या होता है. You do you know the difference? Okay. So Brahman is, out of Krishna body there is white light emerging. Okay, तो उसमें merge होना, जो ब्रह्मन, तो उसको कहते हैं ब्रह्मन realization, कि you are one with the energy of Krishna. But that's what devotees reject, merging with the Lord. Why? Because उसमें कोई exchange नहीं होगा. And what as humans we want is, we want exchange with the Lord, right? Do you want a relationship जिसमें कुछ हो ही नहीं? Just nothing. So that's why, because उसमें आनंद नहीं होता है. Second is the Paramatma realization, जिसमें you go to the Vaikuntha planets. उसमें you just adore the Lord, but there is no exchange happening. That's also very high state, but just I'm telling you. The third is the Bhagwan realization, where you have active engagement, just like the gopis, or the Gopas of Vrindavan. They are playing with Krishna, they are climbing on Krishna, they are having an exchange. So our process which we are following, we are on the Bhagwan realization. We are having an eternal relationship with Krishna. We want active engagement. कि उसमें आपको तीन चीज मिलेगी, सच, चिद और आनंद. When you have direct engagement with Krishna, you get that ananda, and that's what we are after for. That is the highest form of realization. So that is why इधर लिखा था ना, the platform is of Brahman atmosphere. So Brahman is what, not devotee. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said we want active engagement with the Lord, and that's why we follow this process of chanting the holy names, having exchanges with Krishna. I hope you got the concept. Brahman, Paramatma, Bhagwan realization. We want active engagement with Krishna. You want to play with Krishna, or you want to, as a mother, father, eternal, whatever relationship you want with Krishna, that you can choose. And that's why this, the moment is very important. You get that chance to go back home to Godhead. All the above mentioned sacrifice help one to become cleansed of the sinful reactions of material existence. So now sinful, what do you mean by sinful reactions?
Results of past bad.
Okay, past bad activities. Present का क्या?
Present का future में होएगा, past का.
You never know कब, मतलब वो प्रारब्ध होता है, तो इसका पास्ट कर्मा को प्रारब्ध बोलते हैं, कब फ्रक्टिफाई होते हैं. That is there. And we don't want also, we keep doing sinful reactions. Just like we are walking on the ground, we'll be killing some ants, we'll be harming the nature. So we don't know. गलती से पौधा उखाड़ देते हैं. There are many things that happen. So for that reactions we are never sure. That's why you have to, and you can't avoid that. Can you avoid walking on ants?
No.
There's no way you can do that. So that's why you get that sinful reactions. And till the time you are getting reactions, you are having another body. Because you create your body. So there are good karma, bad karma. But dono is like a chain. Because you get another body. And once you get another body, what do you get? Body दूसरी आती तो what do you get?
Past life karma. Whatever bad.
Yeah. So you get birth, death, old age, disease. These four things you get.
Maybe good things also.
Good thing, you will be born in a very aristocratic family, but then
But that is not good.
I mean, some people would die to get that. I mean, I'm just talking from an argument point of view. But you understand, some people would die to be like, either I'll be born in a rich family, I'll be much happier. A rich family, but then there are another problems, that a set of problems is. So from a spiritual point, it's birth, death, old age, disease, which is very painful. Because you don't want to get disease, but you get diseases. You don't want to get old, but you get old. So that's a fact. That's why spiritually. So you don't want to get into this cycle again. And that's why good karma, bad karma, you go on to do akarma. That is offering everything to the Lord. So that's there. Clear, yeah? Okay, I'll just read. Any questions? By this advancement in life, not does one become happy and opulent in this life, but also at the end, he enters into the eternal kingdom of God, either merging into the impersonal Brahman or associating with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So I just told you about Brahman realization. You just merge with the Brahman, but that is not. We want to associate with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. So this is what you want to do. You have a personal relationship with the Lord. And that is why we are aiming for this. So, and another thing is not only by sacrifices, what happens, you become happy and opulent. Now, this is also you have to be careful about ki, by practicing spiritual life, people, your ego goes ho jata hai, you get more Maya, so Maya attacks you, Maya, so you get fame, power and all. But your objective is not that. Your objective is to going back home, back to Godhead. So that's why you have to be very careful with this also. We are practicing Krishna consciousness, so what will happen is, you might become, opulent or very happy. So is happiness our objective in Krishna consciousness? The question is happiness our objective in Krishna consciousness?
Spiritual happiness is objective, not material.
Okay.
Ananda, you call that.
Ananda. Yeah. But that's our objective.
No.
Yeah.
That's not
Service.
objective, it is like effect of it.
Right.
Our objective is to serve the Lord.
Yeah. So it's a byproduct. You're walking on the path, this is just a byproduct that you get. Just like when you become a devotee, so naturally you're not attracted to something जो material लोग को बहुत appeal करते हैं, right? The latest iPhone that is there, है नहीं है, it makes a difference to you. If you are more on the spiritual, I guess most of you are coming regularly, so you get an understanding of this. It matters to you, but for some people put lines, they wait for hours or camp karte outside when a new iPhone is launched. Agree, disagree? But for a devotee, does it matter? You know why? It's temporary. Next year क्या होगा? उसके बाद क्या होगा next year?
New version.
so that's because as devotees we understand this. But there are some people who are so passionate. Rajagun इतना ज़्यादा होता कि they camp outside. I've seen, I don't know, but I've seen videos around it. So that is not appeals to us. So that's why sacrifices are so important, because they put you in a proper understanding of the situation. What is to be done and what is not to be done. And that's the importance of practicing spiritual life. You are in a proper state. But just to give you expanding that example, if you talk to that passionate guy और उसको बोलो भगवद गीता पढ़ने को, will they do? Because their mind is not that. That's why you have to come to the temple and create that atmosphere, chant, so that your purification of the heart happens. Then you get this knowledge. Agree, disagree? So how many of you are coming for more than a year? Or practicing for more than a year? So what happens? So just to give you example, so can anybody share क्या फर्क हुआ है उनकी जिंदगी में in terms of the differences? Yeah.
What are bad habits and
What kind of bad habits, if you can?
like says these material desires.
Yeah. Muhammad. Sorry?
Anger issue.
Acha.
Ego.
Okay. But can you expand? Anger issues कैसे है मतलब?
Probably before I used to be angry and थोड़े बात में बहुत गुस्सा हो जाती थी और आर्ग्यूमेंट में बहुत करती थी.
Okay.
But now अभी like इतना भी कंट्रोल नहीं हुआ, but अभी कम हो गया.
So lust, anger and greed, Bhagavad Gita में बोला gateways to. Yeah. Anybody else would like to share? Yeah.
See, I'm attached to this ISKCON from last 1 year. Not here, but we have classes in Kandir local.
Yeah.
So from there, I'm part of it. And the main difference I found myself that earlier I was not able to concentrate on anything. Like say for example in work also, if I have to sit for 9 hours, okay, so after half an hour like you start going here and there.
Right.
Okay. But now I can sit for 9 hours also and I enjoy the work.
Okay.
And I enjoy everything now.
Right.
That's the main difference I felt in myself.
So more in the right perspective you were there. Right mindset. Okay, so that happens because why? Because you are purifying your senses. Because you are controlling your senses. Spiritual life में क्या बोला है? सब regulations है ना. प्याज लहसुन नहीं खाना, ये नहीं करना, वो नहीं करना, nothing, right? There is very regulations. Offer food to Lord and then eat. Why? This all purifies your senses. And when the purification happens, you see the side effects. But our objective is to please Krishna, and this is just a side effect that will happen. Because you're practicing, you're purifying your senses. So just to give you an example, so just iPhone example, when somebody is buying और उधर जाके आप उसको बोलो कि he's just camping outside और next day opening है, will he listen to you? No, because he's so passionate about it कि वो possess करना है. But slowly when the purification of heart happens, what you get to the proper consciousness, and that's what we are trying to do by following rules and regulations and chanting to get to that proper consciousness. जैसे फील्ड होता है, फार्मर्स जो फील्ड को हल चलाते हैं, देन दे पुट द सीड्स. So they put the seed at any point of time नहीं, they wait for the कि rains आने वाले हैं. I don't know much about farming, but जितना मेरे को समझ में आया तभी they put the seeds and that's how they come. So similarly ये. And if you look at this ISKCON movement also, hippies became happies. Now who were hippies? They were drug addicts and serious drug addicts. I've seen people office में and all कि smoking छोड़ने को it's so difficult, right? But they were drug addicts. And but by chanting, slowly they became purified and they started practicing Krishna consciousness. And now there are some people who are practicing for more than 50 years. They're a drug addict and they are still, so they have left it long. Why? Because your change of heart happens. So if you say Cheto Mano Darpajana, so cleansing of the heart happens. And then only you can understand spiritual knowledge. You can't understand spiritual knowledge, if you are not pure in the heart. And what will happen is over the years when you practice it, so as your spiritual, as your understanding increases or your purity increases, you understand things much better. Ki why this rules and regulations rakha tha, why this is so there. So you get to the proper platform. So that's the whole objective. I hope my point is clear. Yes, Prabhu.
I've got a question very much related to this.
Yes, Prabhuji.
You're talking about purification.
Yeah.
So, many a times, it has happened to me, let me be very honest. I've been standing in front of Krishnaji
Yeah.
and I start weeping.
Okay.
In the sense, there is no control over what I am doing consciously.
Okay.
I try to say no, I shouldn't be. I keep on, and then it slowly subsides. So what does that connote? I mean,
So when in Radharas Bihari, when you are standing, that happens, or just that home deities or what?
well, it has happened in two cases. One in the temple known as Mai Temple, which
Okay.
is very near my house,
Okay.
where I used to go as a child.
Hmm.
And once here, right here,
Okay.
I was standing in front of the Tulsi Angan,
Okay, and then
and I was praying. Rather, I was talking. I never pray. I just talk to the.
yeah, you should talk to the deity. That's
That's
recommended.
okay.
Huh? You can open your heart to the deity.
Absolutely, like a friend. I always.
There is no rules around.
Yeah. So I was just talking about a very serious condition in my immediate family's life.
Okay.
And he says, yes, I will be there. I have heard that voice.
Okay.
Now I don't know whether it's an inner voice
Yeah.
or it's voice from him.
Only Krishna can say, honestly.
Yeah,
But weeping is it's one of the nectar of devotion. The book talks about devotion by Rupa Goswami. So weeping is a very normal thing in front of the deities. Hair standing on the end, that's a very normal thing to happen when you're in a deity. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu showed these symptoms when he was in Puri. So it's a very normal thing to happen. And you can talk your heart to the deity. Because here we are trying to establish a relationship with Krishna. It's not a superficial relationship. It's actually because he doesn't need your offerings per se. What he needs here is your emotion. It's your love.
And intention.
Intention, yeah, with the proper intention. So that's the most important thing than actually anything else. So that's why it's very important that you would have a purified heart when you're offering to Krishna. No, you can't cheat him. होता है ना कि because Krishna, so in the 5th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, last verse में वही है कि he is your best friend. And why he is your best friend? Because Krishna is there in everybody's hearts, right? He is there with you. So he is watching you. इतना आपके friends, mom, dad कोई watch नहीं करता है जितना Krishna watch करता है. And you can never cheat him because he knows your heart very well. अगर किसी को पता ना हो, yeah.
So Prabhuji, we have two souls in our body.
Yes, one is super soul and one is the Atma soul.
And size, like both are same or it's
साइज में 1/10,000 ऑफ वो टिप बोला तो उतना ही होगा, मतलब सुपर सोल भी उतना है. बट देयर इज नो, आई हैव नॉट सीन सुपर सोल का लिखा हुआ है कि कहीं. आई विल हैव टू चेक दैट कि इसका बोला गया है कि टिप ऑफ द एयर को 100 पार्ट्स में करो, उसका 100 पार्ट लेके अगेन 100 करो. सो दैट्स द साइज ऑफ द सोल एंड इट्स देयर इन द रीजन ऑफ योर हार्ट. सुपर सोल इज ऑल्सो देयर इन द रीजन ऑफ योर हार्ट, बट आई हैव नॉट स्टडीड कि एग्जैक्टली साइज कितना है. सो आई हैव नॉट स्टडीड समवेयर. आई हैव टू फाइंड इट आउट ऑनेस्टली.
So it is said like your nail size.
Okay, so I've not read it. I'll just check that. I not read it somewhere, so that's I can tell from him. Sure.
That's why, yeah.
But he's there, always there with you. That's why he's your best friend. And just on that topic, so when you go to your next body, तो क्या क्या लेके जाते हो अपने साथ? Yeah, subtle body, mind, ego and intelligence, and your karmas, so which is basically ego and mind, and you go to the next body with your soul. So when you transit into another body, your subtle body goes with you. And what happens is your karmas go with you, because that's how you take birth in this place. So in Bhagavatam it is said that you choose your family which you are going to stay and all that, you get a choice, and that is based as per your karmas. Okay, what do you think? And what you think at the last time, तो वही body मिलती है, और last time मतलब sorry last breath that you take, and in that also जो आप जिंदगी भर सोचते हो वही end में सोचोगे. ऐसा नहीं है कि you can change it. Very rarely that you can change it. So that's how. Clear? Any other questions? So I hope I answered your. Yes. So you can talk to the deities and you can reveal your heart to the deities. That's the bhakti process. So I'll take the next verse. Nayam loka asti agnyasya kuto ananya kuru sattama. Nah, never. I am this loka planet. Asti, there is. Agyanasya, for one who performs no sacrifice. Kuto, where is. Anya, the other. Kurus sattama, O best among the Kurus. Translation. O best of the Kuru dynasty. Without sacrifice, one can never live happily on this planet or on this life. What then of the next? So sacrifice, if we don't do sacrifice, it's Krishna is saying to Arjuna, ki one can never live happily in this planet or the next life. So sacrifice has to be there. But what sacrifice you want to do? That you have to choose very wisely. So if you give good donations and अपना नाम बड़ा नाम बना के जैसे मैं इतना करता हूँ, you will get a higher planet. But you go to heavenly planets. But problem क्या है उधर? You will enjoy that and again you have to come back here. So what's the purpose of that sacrifice? That's not there. So our understanding, or as per Prabhupada said, your real sacrifice is to please Krishna, because when you go to the Golok Vrindavan, there is no coming back here again. So that's the best part, and that's what we are aiming for.
Prabhuji, when you are saying higher planet, you mean like Saturn, Jupiter, those planets?
No, it's heavenly planets are there.
Heavenly planets.
And we understand कि हर जगह life है. That's what is said. But it's a very complex thing. मतलब भागवत कॉस्मोलॉजी करके है. तो if you live the fifth canto of the Bhagavatam, उसमें इसके बारे में डिटेल में डिस्क्रिप्शन दिया हुआ है. Right. So higher planets when we say is heavenly planets. हाँ, fifth canto. And if the उसमें भागवतम कॉस्मोलॉजी पे lectures भी है online, you can just find out. So YouTube में you can see. So there are courses also that is done. But then it gets too much. So higher planets, the heavenly planets, you will have better bodily features. You will have better music, better atmosphere to enjoy. It will be a much better condition. Just अगर material parlance में ले तो you will get an advanced developed country versus a developing country का difference. No bad roads, nothing वैसा. But then the problem is कि the main problem doesn't solve. Birth, death, old age, disease. So जैसे ही आपका account खत्म, you come back and take birth again. So purport. Whatever form of material existence one is in, one is invariably ignorant of the this real situation. So a very important point here कि you are ignorant, and that's why Bhagavad Gita is important. कि भाई Bhagavad Gita का इतना importance क्यों दिया गया? Because of this reason कि you put it to a real situation. Had this knowledge not been there कि we are a spirit soul, कभी पता चलता अपने को? If Prabhupada has not given this Bhagavad Gita, there is there, but we never have a detailed understanding of this. In other words, existence in the material world is due to the multiple reactions to our sinful lives. Ignorance is the cause of sinful life, and sinful life is the cause of one's dragging on in material existence. So, just take an example. So, we are traveling from Delhi to Bombay in a Rajdhani. So will you make किस तरह की चीज़ें लेके चलोगे अपने साथ? Anybody can answer? If you are traveling from Delhi to Bombay राजधानी में, तो क्या क्या लेके चलोगे अपने साथ?
Probably nothing except your baggage.
Bag, you'll take some bags, some clothes and all. So similarly, we have this finite, just an example. उसमें आप परमानेंट घर बिल्ड करने का, परमानेंट ये अटैचमेंट्स, यू विल बी ऑलवेज बी कॉन्शियस ऑफ द फैक्ट कि मेरी जर्नी एंड होने वाली है. एंड व्हेन योर जर्नी इज एंडिंग, सो यू विल बिहेव दैट वे, राइट? यू विल नॉट गेट टू मच इन्वॉल्व इन द ट्रेन एंड विद द पीपल जो आपको सर्व कर रहे हैं, वॉट एवर. सो सिमिलरली फॉर अस, वी नो दिस जर्नी इज लिमिटेड एंड यू हैव टू play in that. Don't get unnecessarily entangled with unnecessary things. That's a very important part. जैसे भरत महाराज के केस में हुआ था, you know, he was actually went to the forest. He said कि अभी मैं तपस्या करूँगा, but he got attached to a baby deer, and that's why he had to take 2 birds. एक डियर का बॉडी में लेना पड़ा था, एंड उसके बाद he had to take another bird to go back home, back to Godhead. But in the last body he was very smart. So there is a story कि he was किंग का, ही वॉज कैरिंग हिम ऑन वन ऑफ द, वो पालकी में लेते ना, वैसा ही वॉज वन ऑफ द कैरियर्स, एंड ही सॉ एंट्स. तो ही डिडंट वांट टू स्टेप ऑन द एंट्स, तो पालकी क्या होगी, डिसबैलेंस हो गई. सो किंग गॉट एंग्री ऑन हिम, एंड देन भागवतम में है कि ही टोल्ड द किंग अबाउट द होल थिंग. सो दैट्स व्हाई you know, we don't have to get unnecessary entangled and complicate our life. The point is, unnecessary complications life में नहीं लेने. Like you live your life, but unnecessary you don't want to get into. जैसे iPhone का craze हो गया, all these fads आते रहते ना, so we don't have to. And I guess most of us, since coming here, it's a very common thing. But youths में अगर when you give a same lecture to youth, so they are very much attached. कि you know, अरे ये है, this that. So that's why. So that's why the example, Delhi to Bombay train में आ रहा है, you'll say what is necessary, focus on your spiritual life and go back home, back to Godhead. Clear the point? The human form of life is the only loophole by which one may get out of this entanglement. Why? This point, half a second socho. The human form of life is the only loophole, the word, the only loophole by which one may get out of this entanglement. Why?
Because this is the supreme body amongst all 84
Species of
life
life.
species.
Okay.
Given Vivek Buddhi, which can be used to overcome the loophole.
Yes. Yes. Anybody else? Yes, right. I'm not saying it's wrong, but just that. Anybody else? Yeah.
In the start you said it's we have choice.
Right.
Or
Choice
happiness
is there.
and any other living.
Right. So we have a choice, and इसमें भी एक interesting thing है, which 84 lakh species of life you were saying ना, उसमें से human के 4 lakh species of life है, in that count. Now the question to everybody is, for 4 lakh species of life, decide कैसे होगा humans में?
Consciousness, the consciousness.
Yeah. So it's based on consciousness. Okay. So it's not that every human को same opportunity मिलती है. I just give you an example. अंडमान में एक Sentinel Islands करके है, and there is no human connect with these guys. So humans का, I don't know, you know about Sentinel Island? So, so they are living in there. So I don't know, their concept of Bhagavad Gita or this knowledge would not be available to them. But although they are humans, right? So that's a very important point. Ki even in your consciousness also, you have to be there to get this knowledge. They would be living very well in nature. I don't know, but they are away from a human contact in that sense. So would we get an opportunity to come, you know, in that sense, get this knowledge? No. So इसलिए consciousness की वजह से भी 4 lakh species of life है. So not all are the same. Yeah.
The previous line, the ignorance is the cause
Of
So ignorance here means lack of knowledge or means
lack of spiritual knowledge. You would be very good with material knowledge. You would be top मतलब वो, but in spiritual knowledge you will be lacking. So when you are talking here of ignorance, you are talking about the spiritual knowledge. So ये एक फर्क है. Spiritual knowledge क्या है? We are the soul, and then we'll be really happy when we go back home, back to Godhead. So that is what spiritual knowledge is. So ये important है. Clear? So clear, ये important point, यही loophole है. So this is the humans पे choice है. You choose whether you want to go back home, back to Godhead, or you want to enjoy here. इधर enjoyment है क्या वैसे? ये प्रभुपाद की बुक्स पढ़ के बोल रहे हो कि genuinely? है. So we have almost कितना 40 people हो गए. So Is there happiness in this material world?
Temporary.
Fleeting happiness and temporary happiness. And can you live from temporary happiness to temporary happiness? क्यों क्या मिलेगा? Anxiety. कि next time happiness कब मिलेगा? I want this perfect conditions to happen. Like ना weather पहले ज़माने में अच्छा होता था, अभी weather अच्छा नहीं है. Rivers were cleaner earlier than what it is today, right? So that's a very temporary happiness. So I'll just read it. The Vedas therefore give us a chance for escape by pointing out the paths of religion, economic comfort, regulated sense gratification, and at last the means to get out of this miserable condition entirely. So that's why when Prabhupada is writing in the purport कि miserable condition है ये. But do we think it's a miserable condition? Honest answer, huh? Do you think you're living a happy life or a miserable life? Seriously, the Prabhupada.
But still we are so much bound by our modes.
Right.
Get back again to
Yes. वही होता है ना, बहुत प्यास लगी है, थोड़ा सा पानी पी लो, हाँ, you feel like you got everything, right? That feeling. So this is what it is. कि you get some points of happiness. जैसे you watch some movie for couple of hours, हाँ, एकदम अच्छा है, उसके again the same life is back, the same problems are back. So, and what happens with this today is कि with phones and everything coming here, you try to delay that. We are talking na reels. You people watch that so that you delay it. You don't think too much. That's why you should continuously chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra as much as possible. Because why? Then you're actually connecting with the Supreme Lord. इसलिए they say ना कि even if you are happy, sad, you should come to the temple. Why? Because you can get connected to Krishna. So you surrender your happiness to Krishna, you surrender your sadness to Krishna. So that's a very important thing. So when you are facing problems, तो बोलते हैं ना, जैसे डॉक्टर बोलता है डोज डबल कर देना. If you have a disease, you know, say if you have fever, high fever है, तो क्रोसिन दिन में 3 बार लेना. I'm just saying it. So similarly with this, if you're facing problems or if you're facing challenges in your life, don't go away from spiritual life. Do more, and then surrender to Krishna, and let's see what happens. But what happens is we do the opposite. जब problem आ जाती है तो we go away from Krishna consciousness. That's very important. You have to protect your bhakti that way. Clear? Yeah.
At the time of difficulty, it becomes very difficult to do some devotional activity. So at that time, what to do to get the determination?
Okay, ये interesting thing था कि okay, I just read today morning only कि once you are sleeping, कौन सा senses आपका active रहता है? Which can protect you?
Brain.
Sense. Senses. 5 senses है ना? Ear. So your मतलब brain obviously is the processor है, but senses is the ear. Ears is only productive. Eyes closed है, hands are. So you should listen more. If you are not focusing on na, so you can listen to the kirtan or you can listen to a Prabhupada's lecture or anybody's lecture that you are following. What will that do? It will get you connected to Krishna. Clear? That answers that. So that's where you get again taste. क्या होता है, कोई चीज़ के टेस्ट के लिए you have to hear glories about Krishna, you have to keep discussing. इसलिए the first step is Shravanam, then Kirtanam. So Shravanam is the very important thing. So if you are not able to chant or not even come to the temple, then what you have to do, you have to listen to the lectures or some book or read books or audio books भी आ गए Prabhupada की. So you can actually put the audio book also. Clear, bro? Any other question? The path of the religion or different kinds of sacrifices recommended above automatically solves our economic problems. So if you follow dharma, the artha comes. That's the rule. So अगर आप धर्म you follow, so then artha comes. Then you can take Sudama's example. कि उन्होंने तो कुछ he gave something to Krishna and Krishna gave him so much. So if you follow the path of religion, so artha will come. By performance of yajna, we can have enough food, enough milk, and even if there is so-called increase in population. Okay, ये था कि संकीर्तन किया था. There ना, they had sankirtana, so the rains were very good. And Prabhupada ने purport में भी mention किया है. I don't remember exactly. I'll share in the group if I get it. कि when there is nice sankirtan happening, the rains will be very good in that region. So actually एक बार हुआ था. So when the body is fully supplied, naturally the next stage is to satisfy the senses. The Vedas prescribe therefore sacred marriage for regulated sense gratification. Thereby one is gradually elevated to the platform of release from material bondage. And the highest perfection of liberated life is to associate with the Supreme Lord. Now, very interesting thing, Arjuna in the Bhagavad Gita wanted to leave everything at once. Krishna never allowed him. Why? Because regulated sense gratification होना चाहिए. Arjuna could control the wind. We cannot, but it was an example for all of us. कि होता है ना कि सब छोड़ दो, जो spiritual life में आ गए तो ये बेकार है, वो बेकार है. And then what happens is you again go back to the material. थोड़ा कुछ हो गया, थोड़ा सा माया का, you get some ego boosting something and you just leave bhakti. So that shouldn't be the case. That's why Arjuna को सन्यासी बनने के लिए मना किया था in the battlefield. He said, you part. So your purification of the senses has to happen. So that's the point. So that's why, regulated sense gratification is very important. इसलिए, if you took out, we have so many things to eat. मतलब पिज़्ज़ा भी मिलता है टेम्पल में, केक भी ऑफर होता है. Why? Because it's a global movement. Because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said every town and village there will be Harinam Sankirtan happening. So because of that there is limited sense gratification that is allowed. कि प्रसाद खाओ in different varieties. That is allowed. Perfection. So perfection is achieved by performance of yajna as described above. Now, if a person is not inclined to perform yajna according to the Vedas, how can he expect a happy life even in this body? What to speak of another body or another planet? There are different grades of material comforts in different heavenly planets. In all cases, there is immense happiness for persons engaged in different kinds of yajna. But the highest kind of happiness that a man can achieve is to be promoted to the spiritual planets by practice of Krishna consciousness. A life of Krishna consciousness is therefore the solution to all the problems of material existence. Now this is a very important line. So I'll just highlight this. Okay. So there are different grades of material. So heavenly planets में as you read कि बहुत ज़्यादा comfort होता है. There are better music that is वो गांधर्वास play करते हैं and better facilities and all. But then that's not the highest. Now the question is why? Why लिखा गया है कि heavenly planet में सब facilities है, best music and everything, there is no problem. But why it's not the highest? Heavenly planets जाना. Why? Yes, okay. But वो स्पिरिचुअल वर्ल्ड में भी होगा.
हाँ वही उसी में होता है.
हाँ, ओ नहीं, ये हेवनली प्लैनेट्स है. सो हेवनली प्लैनेट्स में क्या होगा? एज योर गुड कर्मा खत्म, यू कम बैक एंड यू कमिंग बैक मतलब बर्थ, डेथ, ओल्ड एज, डिजीज, अगेन दैट whole thing happens. But when you goes to the spiritual world, so in the Bhagavad Gita only Krishna says, once who comes to my abode doesn't come back again to this material world. So your birth, death, old age, disease नहीं होता है. So there in the spiritual world that is not there. So that's the difference between. मोक्ष मतलब ब्रह्मन में मर्ज हो जाना या परमात्मा से हो जाना. This is higher than मोक्ष. So moksha is rejected by devotees. Why? Because we want to have an active engagement with Krishna. That is our objective. Because when you satisfy the Supreme, you will get more satisfaction. जैसे हनुमान जी को service of the Lord Ram. If you give him any other service, he will not take it. But he was there in इसमें रथ के ऊपर उनका flag में he was there. Why? Because he was doing service to Ram, Krishna, and all similar ही है तो he was doing service to Krishna. Yeah, so that's the mood. Because there is more pleasure in serving Krishna. Agree, disagree? So yeah, we are almost time. Any other question? Any questions? So an important point here, life in Krishna consciousness is therefore the solution to all problems of material existence. Material existence के problems क्या है? Yeah, that's related to the body. मतलब so body होगा, सारे problems body और mind से related होते हैं. So body जैसे होता है डेवलपिंग कंट्रीज में तो तुम्हारा bodily problem ज़्यादा होता है कि the things are not better, डेवलप वर्ल्ड में क्या होता है? माइंड प्रॉब्लम्स इंक्रीजेस, प्रॉब्लम्स रहते हैं. So nobody can say the problems are finished. But it's the level, कहाँ पे होता है? It's one is at the mind level, so loneliness is a bigger problem there globally. इंडिया में लोग ही इतने ज़्यादा है कि खाली जगह ही नहीं मिलती है. होता है कि नहीं? You keep say, especially in Bombay, when you're doing Bhagavad Gita distribution, Andheri station पे, you at least used to see 5 lakhs, 6 lakhs people. ऐसे ही just, you know, there's 6 to 10 evening में they're just rushing and they're not looking, से train पकड़नी है. And that's how it is there. यही दूसरी जगह कोई रहता ही नहीं है. You have to find people around. So that's the problem. So okay, we are almost time. We end the session by loudly chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki